Hail, hail, the gang's all here, baby. Go ahead. Okay. This is the Historic Preservation and Architectural Review Board, Thursday, April 28th, 2022, Sag Harbor. We'll start with the flag salute. So all stand, please, and pledge the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag
to the
of the United States of America,
United
to the republic
States of America,
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
and to the republic, which is
one nation, under God.
one nation,
Under God.
I pledge allegiance to the flag. That's it. That's it, right? Is there more? Good. Yes. Okay. Thank you. And we're going to begin. I would like a motion from a board member, please, to approve the minutes from the April 14th, 2022 meeting. Anybody willing to make that motion? If you are, please raise your hand. Okay, I'm going to start. Mr. Williams, you make the motion to accept the minutes.
So moved.
Okay. And Judith, second.
Second.
Okay. Anybody no one has any changes? All right. So let's, all in favor? Aye. All right.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to begin with public hearing. James Payton, 26 Germain Avenue. Ms. Lou, correct?
Hi, good evening, board members.
Anything new that you have that you'd like to bring forward to us? We're very interested in.
We dropped the whole building by a foot. Should I share the screen or?
Yes, that would be great.
Oh, I'm disabled. Could somebody allow me to share the screen?
Just shared it.
Okay, Heather says she's sharing it.
Ah, okay, now it's working. You see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. We dropped the whole ceiling and the roof height by a foot. So this number used to be 30 feet 6 and 1/8. The computer is so accurate. So 30 feet 6 inches and now is 29 6 inches. And we took the height from the ceiling of first floor and second floor, 6 inches of each. And we decided to keep the pitch because we think it's a very pretty pitch. So we rather lower the ceiling height. That's what happened.
So lowering the ceiling, you're saying inside?
Yes.
Or?
So the whole roof total lowered by a foot, like Mr. Williams suggested last time.
You agree with that, Mr. Williams?
Well, I looked at the plans this afternoon. It looked to me like, if I remember correctly, the first floor ceiling height went from 10 to 9.6.
Yes.
And so you gave us 6 inches there.
Yes. And second floor from the plate height used to be 8.6, and we took 6 inches of that. So it's 9.6 on first floor and 8 on second floor. Total got down a foot.
So I wasn't clear. I know that you show the dimension of the peak of the hip roof, but I'm not clear. I was looking in the plans for the older presentation, and the ones from earlier this month, Architectural 5, which would have shown that elevation, was not in the stack. So what is now, how much lower has the roof height lowered?
I'm putting out the file previously submitted.
I,
You can see the,
what I know, what I see on here is that it is still 12, is this correct? 12 by 9.5?
oh,
Is
no,
that what you're referring to or no?
yeah, we're trying to keep the pitch because it's a very pretty pitch. And we think it looks not as pretty if we change the pitch. So you can see the total height in the last submission is 30 feet 6 inches, the total height, and that's from the
That's from the previous, correct?
yes, this is from the previous.
And
This is
now
from
it
the
is
final
what?
grade to the tip, and then you can see the previous one. We have the plate for the second floor A6 and place on first floor is 10. So the first floor now is 9.6 and the second floor is 8. So we took down 6 inches
Okay,
and the whole roof come down
6 and
instead
6.
of 36 and they become 29.6.
It becomes 29, you said?
Yes,
From
yes,
30 to 29, so it's 1 foot?
yes. So we took down a foot. See if you look here, it's a foot here. It's 29.
There it is, 29.
And this is a
Right. And I think since you quoted me, I'm just going to say, I thought we were hoping for a little more,
Yeah,
maybe 2 to really 4 feet is what we're talking about. So we were asking about changing the angle of the roof and lowering the slope on it. And 6 inches and 6 inches is given 30 feet is not a significant percentage, right? So,
correct.
I'm just going to be consistent with my prior comment. Is that we're trying to lower the impact of this house, and we understand that you've remeasured where the grade starts, you've raised it, but we can't deny that it's still 10 feet above what you're saying the road grade is. You're saying the road grade's 12, and the baseline of this house is 22. So 22 and 29, I mean, that's 39 feet. That's a lot.
22
That,
is
that's,
from the sea level. We are the road.
yeah,
is-
so, right. So but you said the grade level was at 12. So I'm saying, so,
no.
so the difference between the road grade level, you were saying, and the level of the house, or the top of the grade around the house, is 10 feet. It looks like more than that, but you're saying it's 10 feet. So that, I'm just saying that the roof still ends up being 39 feet above the road grade level.
No. The road here is not that low. So the road here is, if you look at the topo, the road here is 18 and we are at 22. And also, really, I'm pleading with the board, when the house becomes too low, it doesn't look pretty. And in the pitch, when you alter it a tiny bit, it doesn't look good, and you really don't get that much height
Yeah, I bet.
reduction. So and what we listened to the board last time is, oh, the board asked is a foot, so we did it, and we really tried our best. We reduced 330 square foot, and that's what he's entitled. And we lowered the roof, and it's under 30 feet. And our house, when it's under 30 feet, is not tall. I know it's the road, the house, the grade is a little higher than the road, but really the homeowner should not be punished for the grade is a little higher. It's we are like at 22. The grade, the final grade is 22. The road is at 18. So it's only 4 feet. And then we allowed a house of 35 feet.
Anyone else have any questions or requests?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, I think we're being a little, maybe there's a difference in what we're referring to. The road grade that I'm talking about is Germain Avenue, which is the address of the building. I think you're talking about the other road, which name escapes me right now,
Archibald Way.
Archibald Way. So when I say 12 feet, it's on your diagrams that Germain was 12 feet above sea level. And then your, the start of your foundation, top of your foundation at grade is 22. So that's where I get my numbers from. I didn't make them up.
No, I didn't mean you make it up.
So yeah, but I mean, let's
But
be
you
clear
have
what
to
we're referring
understand.
to here.
Oh, I'm sorry. You have to understand that the Germain is 200 feet from the house. You know, things looks a little bit smaller in the distance. So you know, it's 200 feet. It's not right in people's face. 200 feet away. I mean, yes, it's Germain's a little low. It's a little lower. It's you know, it's 12, but the house is also 200 feet away.
So
I mean, you know,
is this a zoning issue, or is this is this our issue, or is this a zoning issue in terms of height?
What do you think, our
well,
lawyer?
no, the zoning is this. The height is from every point. You are allowed 35 feet from every point. So I'm way under what's allowed. Way under.
6 feet.
So I'm actually allowed 35 feet from the natural grade. So
It's not a zoning
really,
question.
it's really what we're trying to.
Harry says it's not zoning, it's us. Correct, Harry?
Yeah, it's not zoning or ZBA. As far as the application in front of me, it's not. We're just looking at elevation relative to the neighborhood. That's what we're discussing and considering here. So I'm not aware of an application for a ZBA or any
No,
zoning
it
board,
isn't.
variance on this.
Nope.
So
There is none, as far as we
yeah.
know.
yeah, so it's compliant for zoning. We're just considering it the elevation compared to the neighbors, or height compared to the neighbors. Excuse me.
Height, yes.
Yeah, the immediate height from Archibald is at 18. And I know from Germain where the pond is a little lower, but we're also 200 feet away from it. And from Archibald, we also meet the setback. So we clear on all rounds, and we really don't have, we don't violate any code. And then the height, we really allow 35 feet at every point of existing. We already lowered the existing, and we do not exceed 30 feet. I really think we are really trying our best. And as I said, in the great distance, 200 feet away, if we lower 6 inches or 2 inches, or it's probably not very obvious. And then it will really affect the look of the house, because I think it's very important that the house still looks pretty.
But isn't this a 3-story house?
No, it's not a 3-story house.
So you're showing us two floors
Yes.
that total 19 feet, and then what is above that? What's that window above that? Is that just decorative?
It's a little attic.
What's the height? What's the height from the top plate in the second floor to the ridge?
You see, the person stands here. If somebody stands here, this immediately slope down on both sides. You can have one person stand in the middle. If you look at this height is 8 feet. If it from here to here is 8 feet. You can see underneath the ridge, right underneath the ridge is 8 feet. And then from that point, it's going to slope down. Every foot you move to the left or right, it drops 9.5 inches. You know, you have 3 feet of space that you can stand there, and then you just no more height.
Is, do you think, Miss Lou, that it would be possible for you to lower it a little bit more?
As I
Right
said,
now, the roof line that you're talking about, you're showing with the 8 feet. According to your plans, it says 12 by 9.5. And that's what it's been from the get-go, pretty much.
yes, it's not that I'm trying to now to listen to the board. We took it from our height in the ceiling height. It's just gonna make the roof look like not a nice looking pitch. We would like to maintain the nice looking pitch, and we lower the ceiling height.
The only,
You know, it's almost like
it isn't that I don't, Miss Lou, it isn't that I don't believe what you're saying, but we don't know that because we're not seeing it. Christian, do you agree with that remark or no? Can you hear me, Christian?
I think like as an architect, I'm trying to make things pretty.
What are you asking?
I'm asking if we could, if Miss Lou's saying that it would not be as attractive if she lowered that the pitch for the 8 feet. If she
I
lowered
mean, it
that
looks
a little,
pretty symmetrical with the house. I like the way it looks. I guess that it's really just the height of the house in general.
okay,
But I think it looks beautiful. It's a beautiful house.
yes.
I think that it's just
So
obviously
overall,
question.
what could be done to make the mass not as big besides what she's
I
done
mean, you
already?
could lower the plate heights again, but
it's not fair anymore. It's just too much. And as I said, you know, 30 feet house is not tall. It's not tall. And
Well,
I'm
we
under it.
know part of the problem is of the property. You're building on such a big hill that the house is going to look massive.
imposing.
At this height, the house is going to be massive. Still,
So we're also 200 feet away from the Germain Avenue.
but
And
that's why Miss Lou, it looks so imposing and so large because you stand in Germain and you have to look up, and that's why it looks so imposing. And I understand, you know, it's the land that the house is being built on, but that's part of why it looks as massive as it does, because you're looking
Well, you
up.
know, the other logical solution is to maintain the proportion of the house and drop the land about 3 or 4 feet, and the problem solved.
What do you mean? And regrade the whole
The
top
lot?
of the
Well,
hill,
not the
you
whole
mean?
property, but you can certainly regrade the part of the property. You're talking a foundation, you're gonna dig a foundation anyway, you're gonna have a basement. So there's gonna be regrading done anyhow and digging. So if you want to lower it a couple feet, that's not gonna be a big deal. You can have the equipment on site. It's probably gonna be just a few bucks and you can have all the same dimensions you want.
Interesting.
I'm not sure that's a good idea because the land on the other side, the park, will stay high. And then there will be a huge retaining wall. I'm not sure that looks good either. But right now we have a little retaining wall here.
Of course, we know that there is a retaining wall already from one end of the
one. No, it's
right
only
on Germain. There is a retaining wall for the park land with the caretaker's house on. There is a retaining wall, and it actually, I'd have to go back and look at how far it goes, but there is a retaining wall there, and I mean, it would be interesting to see if you could have the size of house you wanted if you did what Mr. Williams suggests.
Well,
In fact, if I remember the plans, what's your basement height? Isn't it 10 feet?
but that you don't see it.
Yeah,
But-
but it brings the house then.
No, I didn't mean to not to bring the house down. I'm saying when the grade is lower, it's actually, you're gonna, the land will look lower and then you have the park high, it actually doesn't look good. Right now it's a nice rolling hill.
Well,
And-
it's hard for you to argue both sides of the argument. One is you're saying you want to maintain the house because of proportion, but you shouldn't be penalized because the height of the hill. But we want to compromise and give you the proportion, and just saying lower the height of the finished grade, and it's not something that's going to be relatively expensive given the fact that you're going to excavate 10 feet down anyway. So
But
that's
different.
not a balanced argument. I at least from my perspective.
I would
that's
agree.
different.
I would
That's
agree,
under the
Blaine.
basement, but you're talking about the whole land gonna be regraded. Because you can't just lower that little footprint, right? You gotta regrade the whole land. You're actually changing the landscape in the front of the house. Is that what we want to do?
The landscape slopes down towards Germain anyway. So what's the problem? You're just reducing the slope.
You're asking us to flatten the land.
Where the house,
Then you're gonna see a giant retaining wall, which I don't think anybody wants to see either. So
but there is, Christian, that's part of it, is that there is a retaining wall already.
It's a
right, a
it's
tiny
tiny
3-foot one in front of the sidewalk, I believe, right?
On the other, yes, it's on the other side of the sidewalk.
Right.
I don't know how tall it is, to tell you the truth. Well, how tall would this one have to be?
I'm looking at it right now out my back window. It's not very tall.
It's about
Okay.
3 feet, maybe
It
two and a
gets
half.
taller as the closer it gets to the park entrance, the taller it gets, and then it goes. Quite
Right,
a-
because that land flattens down, I guess, right? Is that why? But that
You
doesn't-
don't want to
make
like
sense.
a big 10-foot concrete retaining wall front to back either.
I don't know. What would be, I'm not sure what the answer is, to tell you the truth.
The house like at this height is really not a high, tall building. And a lot this size should be able to support, much taller building. And we are really allowed 35 feet from the existing grade. That means we can build a house like from 24 existing grade, we allowed to build 35 feet from that point. We lowered the grade, we lowered the house, we shrunk the house. I mean, we really did everything we could. And then last time the board told us lower 1 foot, and that's what we did. But I feel like everything we did is not really accounted for. I just feel like it's a little bit unfair now because we do 300 square foot of living space that's outright we allow.
One thing, Miss Lou, one thing that you,
we
Miss Lou,
lower the,
excuse me just for a minute. I understand how you feel. We get that, and we see what you've brought back to us again. When I look at the site plan, can you just quickly tell us how that it's different from before and what kind of plantings? Because we talked about that, about how if you plant certain things on that hill, it might help.
Yes,
correct?
we did talk about landscape plan. We're
Yes.
gonna plant trees in the front and a lot of
Do you have
grass
your
to
lands?
mitigate.
Excuse me. Do you have your
I
landscape
still have the
plan?
rendering. That's what we're planning on doing. So, you can see it's very far.
I
And
gotta
this-
say though, this looks like there's no hill.
This rendering was done a while ago.
Right, but there's no hill. This is not what we see when we look at that house that's there now. This is flat.
Maybe, yeah, I cannot say the renderer did like exactly, maybe it's not very accurate, but the landscape plan is what we're gonna plan on doing. We're gonna have big trees and shrubs in the front to mitigate whatever that may be, you know, let me see if I can find the landscape
excuse me,
plan.
but is it just the site plan that you have, or do you have a landscape plan?
I do have a landscape plan. Let me find it. Oh, we filed it. Heather, do you happen to have it?
Bethany.
Yes.
Let me look in the file. It would be.
Yeah.
Bethany has it over there.
I mean, is it,
Absolutely. And forget again, nowhere. She took 6 and
We definitely filed it. I can't find it at this moment.
I think it was a foot.
she's looking now. But is it basically what you showed us in the rendering?
In the rendering.
Except there's a
yes.
hill. In the
Yeah, the
real
hill,
life,
yes.
there's a hill
I
there where
think
the rendering.
the
doesn't
renderer
have
might not be very good with drawing the hill, but the tree is what we're planning on.
Well, we can look at the survey. You want to show us the survey?
Yeah, we have the survey. Survey's here. But I'm gonna look for the landscape plan.
She's looking for the landscape plan now. And if you have
But
the,
Heather, are
Mr.
you
Williams
also
has
helping me
asked,
to look?
Mr. Williams asked for the survey.
Yes, I have the survey. I'm gonna put the survey on the side so you can see it. This is the survey. And I will keep looking for the landscape plan.
It's very hard to see the topography here.
Yes. And this really doesn't show us plantings at all.
Right.
The site plan does not show us any plantings.
Sorry about it. I didn't think that to pull it out. I don't know where I put it.
Now, do we need to ask after we've talked enough about this, before we close it, we need to ask if there's anybody in the public, right? Heather, should we move on to that while we're waiting or no?
Let's let her finish. Okay.
Okay. Just hurry.
Yeah, let's just close out this then. We'll see if there's any comments.
After we're all done.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's too hard to see the elevation. You can't read this. But okay, this
Yeah.
is actually.
Yeah, we don't have a we don't have an actual landscaping plan in the file. So what I would suggest
I
is
do
that,
have it. I do have it. Let me look for it.
but we don't. So we can't move on that if we don't have it, whether you show it to us or not. So it needs to be, the hard copy in the file so it can be stamped if it's if it's okayed. So what I would like to do, Harry, is this okay, Harry, to now close close it, but ask, right? Since
We're not going to close it yet. Just
No,
let's
but we
ask if there's anyone.
yes, let's. That's what I was
Hold on.
asking.
Is Miss
yes.
Lou? Miss Lou, are you finished for now?
I did find a preliminary landscape plan.
But it's not officially. We need the chart with the spacing of the plants and all of that. So we really can't move on it without that.
So
we don't have the like on that thing that you just put up there. We don't have the kind of plants, the size, the amount, or the spacing charted out. So what I'd like to propose, what I'm doing here, is to go ahead now and ask if there's anybody in the public who would like to speak to this, what we've seen today. I guess not. They've all disappeared on us. There's nobody on the screen anymore.
I'll say something if you give me the opportunity.
This is,
It's Mr. Karam from.
hello.
Hello.
So your
you.
name, sir?
I'm Sammy Karam. I'm
And,
the resident owner at 10 Archibald Way.
okay, so you're next door?
I'm 2 doors down. There's
Okay,
one,
your address, sir?
number 10 Archibald Way.
10 Archibald Way. Okay, thank
Yes.
you.
So I was here last time, and I think this is not necessarily something that you need to take into account. I'm not experienced in the way the architectural board is experienced. So this is very much a personal opinion, which you can take into account or discard. I think part of the problem is that or part of the issue is the house is very large. How many square feet is it? Is it 5,000 square feet? I think if I'm reading the plans correctly, it's around 5,000 square feet. That would make it easily the largest house on Archibald or close to Archibald, including some of the houses, except perhaps the one that's right next door on Germain, the old inn, the White House. But if you go up further up on Germain, the houses are significantly smaller, as is the park, the house that's
Yes.
on the other side. So, this is a personal choice that this owner is making, has the prerogative to make. But at the same time, the board does also have the prerogative to weigh in on whether it should be smaller. Again, this is a personal preference, and I'm just concerned that it may change the feel of as we turn on Archibald. But that may be also only a personal view. So thanks for giving me the opportunity to.
Thank you, sir, very much. Okay, anybody else from the public want to speak?
Yes, may I speak? This is Chris Coy, 11 Union Street, Sag Harbor.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. I'm just speaking as an architect, and I've been on the past, however, I've lost count now, however many hearings for what we're doing on Main Street, but I've seen Ms. Liu's presentation a few times. And I think that, we shouldn't lose sight of the importance of architectural integrity and not remain focused on only the question of size. And it occurs to me that, right near my house, if the Hannibal French house came up today in front of the board, a lot of people would say it's too big, it's too massive, it's too high, all this kind of stuff. And we wouldn't have it. And yet I'm glad we do have it because it's one of the most beautiful houses in Sag Harbor Village. And I think what Ms. Liu has done is a very, very nice house. I think the proportions are good. In fact, of course, I'm an architect, but I would recommend giving her back that 1 foot because I think the proportion of the second floor suffered a little bit by taking the foot out of it. But I wouldn't make her take more height out because I think what she has now is very good looking. And I don't think it would appear to be massive because the massing is broken up by the 2 stories and by the pitched roof. And I certainly wouldn't depress the pitch of the roof further because, one nice thing about Sag Harbor is that the roofs have a steep pitch that's very traditional and it's very attractive. So I think she's going the right direction. And I think that, we shouldn't lose sight of, we have an opportunity to let somebody do a beautiful house. And, if it's a little bigger than some people thought that it should be, well, maybe there's some consideration on the other side of what's more beautiful, and look it up and down Main Street. There's some very large houses there, but they're in proportion and they're nice. And if they came up today, they'd probably have a lot of opposition.
Thank you. You're finished, Mr. Coy?
Oh, yes.
Thank you. That's okay.
Sorry.
Thank you very much for your input. Anyone else? Well, I feel that we're really not, we've listened to Ms. Liu and the other 2 public comments. And because of the land that we don't have, the plan of landscaping, we can't really move on this at this meeting because we want to move on the whole plan, on the whole proposal. So at this time, first I close, is that correct? Harry, I close this. I close the public hearing.
Could I just add one more thing?
One quick thing, certainly, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I just want to answer Mr. Karan.
Yes,
The neighbor.
Yes.
The size of the house is 4,200 square foot.
okay,
30.
Oh, I
So
got you.
it's 42. It's not 5,000. It is
Alrighty.
definitely not 5,000. It's 4,000. We are allowed a 4,500 square foot, but we only build 42. And
Okay.
and I thank my fellow architect for pointing out. I really feel as an architect, if I lower the roof more, it will not look good. And you know, it's, but you know, we could definitely put it in the file, a landscape plan that will you know,
Yeah, we
mitigate
need-
whatever the
We
damage
need,
being
we
caused.
need, yes, Ms. Lou, we need a landscape plan that we
The
can
spacing
see
and
and you can
time.
talk about, and the spacing, and
Yes, yes.
usually
that I
it's
will
a
do.
chart, as you know, I'm sure, right? A chart that has the kind of plants, the size, the
Yeah,
amount,
yeah.
and the spacing, and then of
Yes,
course the
will
actual
do that.
plan that shows it all. And
Mhm.
So I, you know, Miss Lou, I'm gonna comment since you did. During our conversation, I thought I suggested what might be a compromise that allows you to keep the dimensions that you want, but just to kind of lower that, those dimensions would be beautiful whether they were at street level or not. So if there's a way that you can find, keep your dimensions and find a way to lower the height of the house from, in terms of the difference between the peak of the roof and what is it, Germain Avenue, that would be a great compromise. You can keep your 10-foot basement, you can keep your 10-foot floor heights if you can find a way to change the grade about 4 feet or combination thereof. So no one has denied you your architectural design,
yeah,
and ultimately we might not. But I will say, when we talked to the owner, the first time this was presented in discussion, he was very flexible and very willing to consider alterations. And maybe he should join the discussion next time this is reviewed. That's the end of my comment.
okay. Anybody else on the board want to make a comment about, we're not ready to, you know, to move this forward yet. So, I think we've all, I'm satisfied with today. Everybody else good? Harry, do we need to close the public hearing?
Let's table the public portion of it now, since we're going to be taking a landscape plan. Let's keep it status quo for now, because I think there may
Keep
be
it open?
more
Okay.
comments. Yeah.
So we just leave it, all right? We just leave it then?
We'll table this public hearing.
Okay.
Close it out there.
So I would like someone to make that motion to table the public hearing, please, of 26 Germain Avenue. Anybody would do that? Thank you, Mr. Williams.
And I think Bob
Oh,
Adams.
Bob Adams, that's my friend Bob. Okay. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Miss Lou.
Thank you.
And just for the record, the next meeting is May 12th.
All righty. Our next is the Marsden Street properties. And they actually have requested that it still be adjourned or tabled for 7 Marsden to 12 Marsden, 15 Marsden. Can I have a motion to table? From my board, somebody from the board?
I'll make
Chris-
that motion.
Christian is making the motion and Judith is seconding.
Right.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All righty. We'll move on now to the consent agenda matters. I was present with our chairman, so I would like to move. I went and I looked at everything with her of these 5 properties. And so I would like to move the agenda matters for 207 Madison Street, 15 Church Street, 78 Main Street, 35 Carver Street, and 17 Wooded Path. I'll make that motion. I need a second. Christian? All in favor? Aye.
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 Thank you.
So for the record, those applications were approved.
Now we'll move on to old business. We're going to start with the 207 Main Street for the proposed new Widow's Walk on the top of the existing flat roof and the dormer window to be converted to a casement window. Mr. Coy?
Yes, hi, good evening, everyone. Chris Coy, Barnes Coy Architects, 11 Union Street, Sag Harbor. Yeah, so we're not calling this a Widow's Walk, as Zach advised. It's not really a Widow's Walk in the factual definition of what a Widow's Walk is. So we're not calling it a Widow's Walk. We're just calling it a decorative railing. It's a roof. The roof was already there. The flat roof was already there. It's an old addition from the 1920s or whatever it was from. So it's a decorative railing to make the flat roof look a little more attractive. And we are proposing the casement window only to ease access onto the roof for maintenance purposes. You know, there are roof drains up there. It's a flat roof. So occasionally roof drains on a flat roof have to be cleared of leaves and debris and so on, so that you don't have a flood on the roof. So occasionally some guy will have to get out there and clear that debris from the roof. So that's the only reason that we're proposing that. Otherwise, it's purely decorative railing. And I would note that we have reached out to the 3 abutting neighbors, and 2 of them at 209 Main Street and at 10 Jefferson Street have sent in letters of support, which the board has. And the other neighbor at 203, I was speaking with her yesterday, and I honestly don't know which direction she's going to go in, but I think she's present on the hearing tonight, or at least she said she would be. So I'm sure she'll be commenting. But I think the members should consider this as a purely decorative railing. And I would just point that it's also not visible from Main Street, which is the same way that we designed the dormers. The dormers were approved by this board because they are not visible from Main Street. So this decorative railing is just for the owners who will be in their backyard by the pool looking up at that flat roof. They just thought it'd be a more attractive thing to look at. So that's where this application is now.
Okay.
I like
well,
it. I think it looks much better than just a flat roof.
My question, I guess, is why can't the window remain and not be an opening window that enables someone to walk out on it?
Well, the windows, even if they're double hung, I mean, the other windows are double hung and they do operate because sometimes you want to open a window. So
right. I understand that, Mr. Coy, but I'm saying that's, to me, this is more like a door that enters out from the house onto this. I actually call this like a porch. So, and I can tell you, I can read to you what Zach went and walked around, And Christian, were you able to do that? Because you had talked about doing that.
No, I was not, I thought I was
Okay.
going to get a call or an email or something about it. about
Okay,
going up there
but
and
you
doing it.
so you didn't, but Zach did. So I would like to read to everyone what Zach wrote. All right. The proposal to construct a second-story deck or porch, given the close proximity of neighboring houses on Main Street and Jefferson Street, is not conducive to maintaining the privacy of these adjacent historic properties. The project also is not consistent with the construction period, architectural style, and massing of the house, which is a contributing resource in the Sag Harbor Village Historic District. Creating access onto the flat roof of the extension by installing a floor, railing, and modified window opening enables the occupancy of a rooftop, which will inevitably intrude on the privacy of current and future neighbors and impose outdoor activities that will be visible from the street, Jefferson, that are also inappropriate in the historic district. And we do have a letter that was written by and signed by 5 neighbors. 203 Main Street, which is Hillary Collins, Richard Ferrara of 5 Jefferson Street, Will Aminger and Kevin Brine, 16 Jefferson, Robert Weinstein and Eric Hensley, 20 Jefferson Street. Duncan Darrow is on the letter, but he didn't sign it. I'll just say that. And then Neil Slevin from 6 Suffolk Street. So we have definitely 5 to 6 neighbors that are not
Bethany?
pleased with this. Yes.
I'm sorry, Duncan did sign the letter.
He did? Okay.
Yes.
Just announce yourself.
1, 2,
Bob
3,
Weinstein,
4,
20
5,
Jefferson
6.
Street.
The one that we have does not have his signature. It has his name, Bob, but it does not. I mean,
Yeah, Duncan
is
signed
fine.
it. He can submit it.
No,
But
well,
the-
okay.
but-
I mean, I'm submitting the letter anyway. And
Yeah.
I'm just mentioning that because,
Okay, thanks, Bethany.
all right.
They're not proposing a deck with sleepers and decking and usable deck. They're just proposing the railing. I think that's where the confusion might be.
That is correct. Yeah, Zach is mischaracterizing what we're doing. We're not going to put a deck on the roof. It's just a roof with roof drains.
It's
This
decorative.
is a decorative railing for the people sitting down by the pool to look back at.
Right.
It's just a
Has
nice
the
little thing.
has the application been amended? Because when we first
Yeah.
heard about it,
Yes.
and it's
Yes,
in the
but
folder.
Since the last hearing, we have submitted new drawings with
hold
notes
on, let me-
indicating that it's a decorative railing.
Let me find that, and it doesn't have the. So you're not able to go out on it. Is that what you're
Well,
telling us?
yes, you can go out on it as you need to maintain any flat roof. You can go out on it, but it's not something you'd really want to do on a regular basis because there's no deck to walk on anymore. And if it makes the board more comfortable to
That's the
return the
windows.
window to a double hung type window, we would be willing to do that.
So let's just say this, this is a 4-paragraph letter that Bethany's referring to, which appears to
It's 26 Germany.
really be resistant to everything, but the concluding paragraph says, lastly, when the BHPAR raised concerns about the roof deck, the architect requested permission to build a 3-foot railing and deck over the current rubber roof membrane as an alternative. This too must be denied. The components needed ultimately to create, I'm sorry, I skipped a sentence. This too must be denied. Given the history of this application, one can't help but feel that allowing this would simply put in place the components needed to ultimately create a roof deck. We urge you in the strongest terms to deny this request. And that's signed by the people that Bethany
The
mentioned.
letter. He's reading the last paragraph of the letter.
Right.
Well, yeah, he's trying to preempt something that might or might not occur in the future. I mean, that's not really a basis for making this type of decision. I mean, first of all, the alternative I was proposing was to remove the deck, not to add the deck. The first thing we applied for was to have the deck, but then when we realized that that would not be acceptable, we said, okay, we don't really have to go out there. We just want the railing for decorative purposes. So we actually removed that from our request. So we're asking now for a purely decorative railing. I think maybe we could show, I don't know who's sharing the screen, but maybe we could show, we could show our, could we show our rendering? I don't know where that is in the screen, but we have it somewhere. Heather, maybe you have the
Heather,
rendering?
do you have, can
Oh,
you
there we
share?
are, yeah.
If you'll share.
Wait, we had that screen for a second. Yes, let's show that. Okay, so this is a purely decorative railing. You can see that it obviously looks much better than just having a flat roof. It's not visible from Main Street. If it makes the board more comfortable to make that window that gives out onto that roof a double hung window, we will do that. That's not the issue. The issue here is the decorative railing.
So what he's saying is a double hung window, which is something else.
Well, the windows in the dormers are double hung windows. So
Right.
we had proposed the one that opening onto the roof as a casement type, just to make it easier for somebody to get out there.
To go in and out, yes.
Whoever was going to maintain the roof.
There's your
But
picture,
if
okay.
if that is a source of concern, then I'm saying that we would go back to a double hung window. And when the guy has to get out there to clear the drain, he'll just have to bend down and go through a double hung window. We're okay with that.
Those roofs have to be cleaned off a few times a year, so, you know,
That's correct.
they have to get on there. Either way,
Christian, you're fine with this, correct?
I think it looks much better. I think it looked almost kind of silly with a big box coming out of the back of the house. I think the decorative railing looks much nicer.
Anyone else have an opinion on the board?
I think I do have an opinion. I always do. I think that it's how it's cited in the plans. Clearly, it's not a roof deck. I'm not sure what the terminology should be, but it should be seen that's for.
They just
whatever-
call, they just say that it's a proposed 3-foot tall decorative roof top railing.
Right,
They
which
don't
is
mention
exactly what it is.
the floor at all, the roof at all.
Okay, I'm not familiar with the code enough to know that allows people to use it as a roof deck or not. So if someone can clarify that for me, I'd appreciate that.
Harry, could you do that for us
Yeah, I'll check and follow up.
and get back to us?
Yes.
Okay. So is there anybody else, any other discussion? I think then what I can't remember the proper terminology, but we'll put this aside and come back to it when Harry's ready. Is that good, Harry, or will you be ready soon?
Let's table it for now. I just want to get the exact.
Okay, so it's not tabled, Heather. What do I say? It's not a table. I'm not tabling it because we're going to do it.
Well, I'm not sure I
This
understand.
meeting?
This is Chris Coy again. I'm not sure I understand what the issue is. I mean, people have to get up on their roofs for maintenance, for example.
We just need to look. We just need to look at the code, and then
Well,
we'll
what does the code say about getting up on your roof for normal
with a
maintenance?
historic structure in the historic district. This part of the house is part of the historic house, and we just have to make sure that the code allows this decorative railing. That's all.
Mr. Coy, hold on. You know that in the code, there are areas that for like ADA that require access to the general public. And there are areas for maintenance that don't require ADA access regulations.
Right.
So what I'm looking for here is to find something that might indicate in terms of the code and how the plans are approved, that indicates that it is for maintenance purposes, based on what you're saying. This is an agreement with what you're saying. And it's also an agreement with what the neighbors are saying, but it doesn't become something that can be occupied for other reasons. So it's not confusing. If I didn't express it before, I hope I'm clearer now.
Okay, yeah, no,
We're in agreement.
yeah.
So
I
what
get-
I'm proposing is that we move on, and then when Harry has the information for us, we'll come back to this instead of
Okay.
us sitting here and waiting.
Okay,
Okay? Do I
Got
have to officially do anything, Heather? Can we just, what's the word? What is it called when we do this? Heather?
Well,
Is there anything else for this application? I'd rather just table this and follow up next time, just so I get a definitive answer. I don't want to.
Okay. All right.
Split hairs or anything. So,
Okay.
let's just table it in general, and then
All
I'll
right.
have a full response that we could all just confirm, because I just want to make sure it matches the intent of what we're talking about.
All right.
I
So-
think it's rocket science, but I just want to make sure it's, you know.
I got you. All right. So, and I'd like a motion
This
for,
speak.
table.
This is Hillary Collins.
Yes.
Can you?
Yes,
I would
go ahead,
like to
Hillary.
speak. Yes.
Ms. Collins, can you submit a letter, please?
She
We're gonna-
did. She
I
signed
did
the letter.
Okay, so
She
we're not,
signed the letter, Harry, that is part of the,
okay.
the six.
I would just ask that any other follow-up comments are just in writing to the board as opposed to a public hearing type situation here, since this is not a public hearing at the moment.
Okay.
So if there's any other follow-ups, the board is more than happy to consider it in writing after today's hearing.
Okay. And we do have your, Ms. Collins, we have your letter. And if you, what
And the
he's
board will fully
saying,
consider
something
it.
more you want to say, then please submit it in letter form, because you're going to have 2 weeks again. So I'd like a motion to table this, 207 Madison.
Motion to table 207 Madison,
I'm sorry, Maine. Oh,
Maine,
I'm
sorry.
looking at the wrong thing. Sorry. 207 Maine.
Motion to
Second,
table 207 Maine.
Okay,
Second.
Christian and then Judith. All in favor?
aye.
Okay. We'll move on now to, again, 207 Maine.
which Dennis requested to table.
Okay,
so-
Dennis has requested this to be tabled. So we then need a motion to table the new insulated 2/2 window units.
I move to table 207 Main Street.
Thank you, Judith.
windows.
Judith, second? Anyone second? I'll second. No one else? I'll second. Bethany? All in favor? Aye. All
Aye.
right, we'll move on. New business. We're going to open new business, and we'll start with 43 Madison Street. Thanks, bud. Who's here from 43 Madison?
I am.
Oh, hello, Tiffany.
How is everyone? I am here for 43 Madison Street, Tiffany Scarlato, 45 Division Street for the applicant and owner. We are here for two different things this evening. One is for a sign to be located on the garage. This is a commercial property
Mhm.
at 43 Madison. And do you have the sign, an 18 by 18 inch sign, white with black lettering? You have a
Yes.
copy of that and a picture of where that sign is to come.
Yes.
The other thing we're here for is a landscaping plan for the property, which is fairly extensive and fairly detailed. The one issue that I know came up with the building inspector was the rock wall that is on Sage Street. And that has already been removed. It was gone as of this afternoon. So
Very good.
you can make a condition of approval, but I believe I saw a picture and it was already gone.
What are you looking for? She wrote this letter. They wrote the letter that it would be removed. That's the sign. What else do you want there, partner? you're gonna show? She's gonna scan it, Tiffany, and then put them up. So it's good
Oh,
that the
fine.
wall is gone.
Yes.
And now we're just waiting for to scan, unless, yes, she's gonna scan it and then put it up for us. Can you talk at all about any of the landscaping besides the wall while we're waiting? Something?
Like I said, the landscaping plan is fairly detailed. It's really a lot more of small plantings than it is large plantings and more of an enhancement to the property. As you know, the property is already pretty tight, but these are a lot of decorative and a lot of decorative and detailed. There's a lot of ferns to be put in. There are a lot of roses, magnolias. It's a lot of beautiful plantings to add to what's already there.
It's amazing, really, when you look at the size of the property. You don't realize.
Right. You don't realize how much you can actually fit it.
How much is there? Yeah, how big it is. Do we have it to see or no?
Yeah.
She's working on it. Here it comes. Yes. I think everybody also has seen this.
I didn't look at it.
Do we have the, okay. That's the sign. That's where the new sign is going to be. And this is the
Right.
sign.
I believe there was a sign there with the prior owner had a sign in that location as well.
Okay. Is all the ivy going to stay on the house?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, do we have, the information on all the plantings, the kind, the size, the amount, and the spacing?
Some of them are all, as I said, some of the plantings are planting ivy, which I'm not sure how much, how we tell you how many. I'm not even so sure.
I understand. Yeah, I understand.
We put that on the plan. I don't know. And sort of planting rose bushes. Again, I don't know how large those rose bushes are going to be. But I'm certain that they're going to be of substantial size because she's not going to do all of this and not have it perfect for opening on Memorial Day. But they are the types of plantings that are going to grow a tremendous amount. We're not talking about planting, giant arborvitae or anything like that. It's really
no kind
much
of trees or.
There's one blue spruce to be determined right up in the front of the property. Yep.
Usually a landscaping plan has a schedule with a count of each type of plant and the spacing between the plants.
Right. I have to be honest with you. I don't know if we're going to get a schedule of plantings with, for dwarf ferns. I question whether we even have to be here for this, with all due respect to the board, but if we're planting sort of dwarf ferns, I'm not sure that anybody can.
Pretty much it's roses, it looks like. Lots of rose, ivy.
There's some existing trees on the property, which are magnolias, which are proposed to remain there.
To stay, yeah.
It's rambling roses on an existing trellis. I think she just wanted to come in and make sure that she had approval from the board to put in what are essentially decorative plantings. They're not things that are going to grow a tremendous amount. You see in the front, sort of on the right-hand side of the property, bordering Sage Street, you see plantings of additional ferns. How many ferns are going to be there is as many as need to make it nice. If you would rather have a schedule of exactly how many, I can have them pull that up, but I think they're going to.
Is there any lighting, plant lighting, up lighting, down lighting? There's a dark sky. There's a dark sky law now, so we want to make sure that this doesn't violate that intent.
There is no lighting proposed
Okay.
other than what is currently existing on the property, which I believe there are sconces on the front, but that's it.
Stone walls going, okay. Now in the picture, we see, oh, I see, do you still have the planters on the plan?
No, they're not, no, they're not there.
They're going to be gone, okay.
I don't even think they're there today. I think
All
that
right.
photograph was taken prior to my client's purchase of the property, but they weren't there. I was on the property yesterday with her and they were not there. Those buildings actually go, that building itself is basically right on the property line.
I'm sorry, did you say they're gonna leave the ivy on the house?
Yes.
Yes, she
Yes.
did. So what is it, what is everyone's feelings about the plantings? Anyone have a comment?
I think they look very nice.
Okay.
That they'll make it even more attractive than it already is.
Yes. And I tend to feel the same way, that they're very, it's rose bushes, it's ferns. If everybody is comfortable with this plan the way it is, I would entertain a motion to move this forward. Anyone want to make that motion?
I'll make that motion
Okay.
to
Jude,
approve 43. No, wait a minute, where are we?
it's 43 Madison.
43 Madison, yes.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we got it.
Abstain.
Okay.
Thank you.
Today is the 28th, correct?
Yes.
There you go. Thank you. Okay, now we'll move on to 32 Glover Street. It's a proposed amendment to not construct the proposed porch on the main additions. Who's here to speak to that?
Let me,
There he is.
okay, I'm
Val?
off mute. I'm the architect for the project, for the record, Val Florio. And the homeowners are here as well, Mr. and Mrs. Jack and Augusta Folks. And if it would be possible, Heather, could I share my screen?
Yes, you can.
Yep.
Right.
I'm having a hard time hearing this.
Oh, yeah, we've seen this before.
Can you hear?
I'm okay. It's a little low, but we're good. I can hear you.
Great. So this project is in addition to the 1930s bungalow, which is a little structure here. And we were given approval to take the enclosed portion of the porch and turn it into an open porch. And part of the application was this screen porch on the left side of the house. We wanted to propose a deck, and being good neighbors, we contacted the neighbor immediately to the left of the house and they had reservation about putting the roof deck, so we scratched it from the application. So the second ingredient was the front porch. And we had requested for the historian to take a look at the proposal and ask if we could put the front porch onto the addition and thereby remove the porch on the existing bungalow. So if I could show you, this is the project as approved by the board, by this board. And it has a porch on the addition, and now it's got the porch on the cottage.
Right.
So it was our contention that it's confusing the house because you've got two front porches, and this is sort of a one-off. It would be one of the very few houses in the village with two front porches. It almost looks like two houses. So our thought was to take the porch off of the cottage, which is why we had contacted the historian to take a look.
And that's the new part, that the part on the is the addition on the left-hand side?
The addition is on the left. This is the addition.
Okay, and that's where you want the porch off, correct?
That is what we wanted to put the
That's what
porch
you're
on.
proposing now, for the new part not to have the porch, but the original to have it.
Yes, because due to the historian's comments, and we yield to his findings, he would prefer the porch on the cottage because it's historic, and we tend to agree with him. If you would want to keep the historic portion, historic, you don't touch that part. But we just feel that the two porches are confusing the architecture. Now the thing is as built and it's real world. You can look at it, and it would just look peculiar, to have, it looks like two houses. So this also created a hardship because the porch, when the board had approved this, and actually the board is the one who had requested we put the second porch, it became a little bit difficult with regard to lot coverage, because this is not a huge property, and the additional porch is really something that creates a hardship in terms of little ancillary agreements, ingredients, like we have a small pool in the backyard. We can't put any terrace around that pool. And we also were limited with, the surveyors have to include window wells. So we were thinking just one of these two porches, if we could please take the proposed porch off the house, respect the history of the cottage, and just, this is the end result.
I just want to double check again that the original is on the right-hand side, correct?
Yes. So
And
if I could,
the left side where you're taking the porch off is the new addition.
correct. This is the existing bungalow, which
Great, that helps
how
us.
it-
Yep.
yeah, so we were given approval to open up this enclosed porch, which by the way is not original to the cottage when it was first built. We're not going to contest the historian's findings, but the owner of the property, when we took this apart, we realized that this was an afterthought. There actually inside here, there's an existing front door which dates to the original house. Everything outside of it was an add-on.
Well, we did already approve a porch for this structure, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep it. Our proposal is
To take it off of the new.
We're going to keep the porch open, and that way it speaks to the architecture of the cottage. But again, our contention is that if you put two porches on this house, I don't think you'd be hard pressed to find a house in the village that has 2 front porches. It looks like 2 different houses. So our request to the board is just simply, can we take that porch off?
Right. Anyone on the board have a question or a comment?
Well, Zach weighed in on this a bit. I don't know if we need to read.
Did you look at it? Because he seems to be a little confused. That's why I kept asking that question.
Yeah.
He's calling he seems, that's why I wasn't going to bring it up, because he's calling the new the old, and the old the new. So I don't think we can really use
Well,
this.
if I can clarify, in our initial
Right, but I'm just
application
saying.
was the balcony.
Yes, I know.
And to put the porch on
I
here.
gotcha.
So,
I know. I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
I honestly, I think that this is pretty simple. We've already approved the original, the plan for the original structure to have the porch, and now they want to and also the new part. We approved that. Now they're just saying they want to change it and take the porch off the new part. It's brand new building. So I will say that I'm good with it.
I think taking the porch off improves it, makes it less confusing, as Val said.
Okay, good.
I'm fine
Anyone
with-
else have anything to say?
I agree also.
Good. Okay, I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Okay, Mr.
Williams.
Thank you, sir. For 32 Glover made the motion, and anyone second?
I second that motion.
Oh, Bob, go ahead.
Bob seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, board, and appreciate all your good work.
You're welcome, Val.
Yes.
Okay. Take
Yeah.
care.
And we appreciate your good work too.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. I miss you all.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Have a good evening.
32 Glover.
You too.
Okay, we'll move on.
Mhm.
To
They're all. None that it's not illegal in the front, but everybody says.
24 Lincoln Street. Anyone here for 24 Lincoln?
Hello, yes, I'm here for 24 Lincoln,
Very
as
good.
well as my client Lorraine Dusky.
Very good. Okay, would you like to, I know it's a proposed installation of street-facing solar panels. Would you like to
Sure.
make your presentation, please?
Sure, so we have,
Mm-hmm. Threw her out. She's not a subscriber. Just log back in. Can we go on to somebody else, Madam Chair, while she reboots up?
I guess if we need to.
Ryan
Yeah, she's
Locascio is
got-
here for 18 Meadowlark. My computer crashed. I may have missed my call.
So we'll go back to. Okay.
She's not a subscriber, and Zoom limits participation to 40 minutes. So she has to reboot, she has to re-enter Zoom
Okay.
for another 40-minute period.
All right. So we'll come back. Let's move on. I'm good with moving on. So let's go to. We'll come back to 24 Lincoln Street.
okay,
Okay, when you're ready, we'll ask. All right, so now we'll go to 18 Meadowlark Lane.
Brian Locascio here on behalf of the
Get rid
applicant,
of this.
Brian Midlam. I'm just pulling up the plans. I'm gonna give you a quick side by side of what we're proposing here.
She got up out of her seat. Oh yeah, she's sitting there. Can I get rid of it or no? Heather, can I get rid of it? Exit? No, just leave it. All right. Okay. And she's quiet now. She's on the phone.
Julia, can you please unshare your screen? I think we're looking at your screen right now.
I'm actually not screen sharing. Lorraine is sharing her screen.
So could she, we have that.
Heather,
ditch
can
the
you
40
stop share?
Yeah. We can't X her out, huh? We have it there.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be patient.
There we go.
There we go.
All right. So it's still not ready yet, I guess, or so we'll move on to 18 Meadowlark Lane. Okay, Brian.
Hey, good evening, board members. Brian Locascio with the Adam Miller Group, and I have the applicant Brian Midland here with me as well, if needed. As put on the agenda, we're here. We just concluded with the Zoning Board of Appeals. As part of that process, we had to slightly reduce the width and height of the house. And we also, as a result of that, we're removing the proposed retaining wall. And the air conditioning unit is being proposed on the side of the house. So I can pull up a side-by-side, give you a visual of what we're doing. But as you'll see, it's essentially the same house that this board has already approved, just slightly reduced in size.
So do you want to share your screen?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up now. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you looking at?
Yep, we see it.
Okay, perfect. All right. So I apologize. I had computer issues myself. I'm just back up. So this is what you had previously approved.
Mm-hmm.
And then, well, not as fine in detail because this is a pyramid sketch. This is what we're now proposing. It's going to be all of the same finishes. As you can see, it is the same house.
Removal of the retaining wall, house raised slightly by
That I can go ahead and
3 inches. By reduction.
So while the house was raised, when we actually did the proper pyramid analysis as part of the zoning board, we actually came out in a reduction in height. So we're now 29 feet. I can zoom in and show you. 11 1/4 inches in height, where I believe you were 30 feet 1 inch. So it's a very minor reduction, but there is a slight reduction in height. And the house has become 6 inches in total narrower.
So you're saying that it's 6 inches less?
Correct. We took 3 inches off of each side to reduce the sky plane infringement that we had.
Okay.
Then I can go ahead and show you the new landscape plan. Sorry, there. I have it all ready to go.
So what is different from this plan than what we had before?
The house is slightly reduced in size. Are you looking at this landscape plan?
Yes.
So we now have the AC equipment on the side where it was originally in the rear of the house.
Okay.
I screened from the side, from the street, behind the fence and a gate. This stairwell was added. But it's no material changes. And there was an L-shaped retaining wall along the side and Meadowlark Lane that is now removed. So it'll be remaining existing grade from the street. So there'll be no retaining wall introduced here. So it's gonna, it's removing that proposed structure we had.
Now, does the driveway have a, does the gravel come right out to the street or does it have a little apron?
It has an apron. Sorry, I'm just going to chime in.
Thank you, Brian.
I can actually show you the detail. I believe it's here. But Brian, you can go ahead and describe it while I try and.
Yeah, the gravel, so you see in the one picture there,
Okay.
the gravel hits the apron.
Good. It's good. And
Okay.
you've got your plant size and spacing. That's good.
And all
So
the
basically
materials
the
and finishes are
change,
the
right?
same.
Is the, now it says basement egress. Where is that location?
That's
Can we
on the
see
side of the house, behind the air conditioning equipment.
Okay. Anybody
Again,
have
it's
any
screened.
questions or remarks about the changes?
Just can you lower erase the drawing so we can see the site plan on the bottom? Yeah. So we can see, yes, there you go.
You good?
So can you point out where the egress is from the basement?
Do you see my mouse cursor?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Is that the top of the egress, or is that where the equipment is?
The equipment is just to the right of it. It's the east.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, of course.
You said something about new materials. Are you talking about the exterior?
There are no new materials, sorry. I meant to say it's all the same materials and finishes that you had approved.
Okay.
It's architecturally the same house, just a slight modification in the size as a result of the zoning board process.
Metal Arc, that's one of the new streets, isn't it? Metal Arc. Oh, I know where it is. Downtown,
So,
the post office over
Does
there.
anyone else have any questions or remarks? Can someone make a motion?
I make a motion to approve 18 Meadowlark Lane.
Second.
Got that, Heather?
I do.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Thank you all, and apologies for the
Thank you.
technical delay on my part there. Have a great evening.
Yep. Okay. All right, now we move on to, well, should I go back to, yes. Okay, 24 Lincoln Street, are you ready?
Yes,
For the
we
solar
are.
panels? Okay, we'll go back to you.
Okay, so I'm going to share our design. Lorraine will share the people who are in support. And we had sent a number of letters over to Heather to support our case. So here we are applying for a solar photovoltaic energy system that will be placed on both of the front and back roofs of the property.
Mm-hmm.
We were previously approved for only the rear section of this.
Okay.
And with the home being set back the way it is from the street and with the grade from north to south here, her neighbors who are at 22 and 26 Lincoln Street are not able to see the panels. We also have some pictures. Just wait for this to load.
Back. So does anyone have any comments or remarks? There are 1, 2, 3, 4.
May I speak about the neighbors?
5. I was going to say, hold on. 6, 7, 8. There are 8 letters. in favor. So do you want to add to anything on that, Lorraine? I think it's pretty evident that your neighbors are not.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, I was waiting for you, Mr. Williams.
Okay. I visited the site today. I read the letters before I went. I saw many of the signatories, but I saw also people who had not signed the letter, but were also neighbors in close proximity. There seems to be no dissension in the neighborhood about this application and wide awareness of it. So I see no reason to deny this application.
Very good. Anyone else?
Yeah, I think we like to encourage the use of solar power whenever possible. So I think this is great.
Yeah, and it's not, according to the code, right? It's not in the historic district. It's not historic structure. So it kind of, as we have, wanted to hear from the neighbors, which we all have. So I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
You got those? All righty. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we got it. Let's move on to 20 Bay. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bethany.
Can you hear Tony?
I can.
Okay.
You gonna
Well,
wave at us?
yes. But we don't see ourselves on the screen. So
Oh,
we don't
okay.
know if
You
can
gotta
see
click
us.
start video.
We're good. We know you're there.
Okay. Well,
Thank
it's
you.
been an enlightening evening.
Very good.
Thank you.
You gotta do this more often.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. We'll move on to 20 Bay.
Are we gonna leave? Now we leave the meeting.
We can go anytime.
Leave meeting.
Hi, John Tarbett for the applicant.
Thank you, John. Okay, so
we previously, oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. Well, I was just going to say this is a proposal for an alteration to the approved pool deck, built-in barbecue and sink, planting buffer, and a 48 black 1x1 metal pool compliant fence surrounding the property with the pool equipment located under now the pre-existing porch.
Okay.
So it's a change from what was approved.
Correct. Thank you for that. So we did come before your board well over a year ago. I'm wondering why I have feedback. Do you have feedback on your end?
No.
We all have feedback.
A little bit, I guess, but I'm okay.
I'll do my best.
We
We did come before your board about a year ago, and you approved a pool on the property. We then decided to change the pool, submit an application to the board for a modification, at which time we were advised we actually had needed a variance the first time. So we then went to the zoning board and got the variance, and now we're back before you looking to modify the pool. Essentially, it's all in the same location. It's the same size pool. It's just that we flipping it mostly for convenience of the owner coming in and out of the house, children, and safety around the pool. I'm not sure if the barbecue was on the original. I don't think the barbecue was originally approved, or the sink next to it. And while there was pool fencing on the original application, it is, I think, better defined here. And the last thing is that the pool equipment was originally proposed in the basement of the house, and instead that has been moved to another concealed location under an existing staircase into the house.
Anyone have any questions?
Yeah, is there a diagram showing the plot plan showing the difference?
I can share my screen. Well, we have. I can share two screens. Yeah, let me try to do it. Let me try.
I mean, a comparison. If it's on one sheet or two, it doesn't matter.
Right, just to see the difference.
Right. So I'm sharing my screen right now. Are you seeing it?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see. I have two screens, so forgive me. But is it moving right now? And
this is what you're proposing now.
Well, I'm trying to. Let me close one of these windows. That way I can tell what you're seeing.
Because we only see one.
Right. Yeah, I have two separate sheets. It's not on one sheet, so I'd have to jump back and forth.
maybe if you just showed us, Mr. Williams, what would you like to see first? What was or what will be? Maybe we could just see the whole deal and then
Right.
and note those things and then show the new. Why don't we do it that way?
Sure. So this is the old, this is what you approved originally, what you're seeing right here.
We're not
wrong,
seeing
wrong
it
screen,
right
though.
now. Yeah, it's wrong.
This is a motion or a complaint.
Apologize.
We saw something before that looked.
Oh, you did?
Now it's gone.
All right, let me try to do this again. I think I know where it is. Is it this? Do you see it now?
Yes. Now,
Okay,
is
great.
this what was, or?
It's blue on your screen, right? The pool?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what's proposed. If I quickly, let me see if I can do this. Is that the, are you now seeing something different?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so that's the old. So if you look at the old plan, it's hard to tell the difference, although it does appear that the new plan is a lot more detailed. And with that detail came a desire simply to flip the pool. And if I quickly go back and forth.
So the stairs come over here.
Yeah.
Shape is a little-
Yeah. And if you go back to the old plan, the decking was on this side over here.
Uh-huh.
And now the decking is on this side over here.
Okay.
It just made more sense from a safety point of view. And you can also tell that it's a more further defined plan now, based on it actually being time to hopefully install the pool. As this old plan didn't have a whole lot of detail, now we have the barbecue and the sink, and just in the process of actually getting ready to build the pool, these details came into the idea of just how to use the property and safely get in and out of the house with young children, just led it to being redesigned slightly different. We still won't be able to see it on the street. And it's no bigger. It's the same size pool. Same depth. That's pretty straightforward request, I think.
Okay. So there's that, and pool deck, a barbecue sink. The planting buffer is now the green bushes that we see, correct?
Yeah,
Which
so the
are
plant,
American boxwood, the American boxwood.
Correct. And if you look, it's it hasn't changed from what was approved last time.
Okay. And the black 1x1 metal pool compliant fence, is that different from what other fence we approved?
Well, for example, no, it's still the same pool fence. Interestingly enough, on the Rector side, it was originally proposed to be, the fencing was proposed to be on the street side of the landscaping.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
okay.
And now it's been moved to be on the inside of the plantings.
Okay.
Which I have. So in the new, we tried to take away some of the confusion as it was by bubbling the new set of plantings.
Right, I see it.
Out the sections.
Yep, I see.
And you can see that it's now shown on the inside of the retaining wall of the plantings, not on the outside on the Rector Street side.
Okay. And those are boxwood also?
Those are all boxwood.
Okay. I like them in front of the fence better.
And I'm saying that, but I'm also double checking myself just because, if you give me 1 second, I think it's on this. I have a planting plan here somewhere. They're called out, I know.
That's what it shows on the newest set of plans that we have, I believe.
Yeah, I think so too. I just didn't want to misstate.
Oh, actually, I shouldn't say that. It says it's what I'm looking at is December 15th, so that might not be the deal.
No, that's what we submitted.
Oh, okay.
That is right.
That's
Yep.
the new. All right.
Yep. The delay was we found out we had to go to the zoning board. So that's
All right.
why it's just going to, Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the it's a pretty
Okay.
straightforward request.
Anybody have any questions or comments? I would entertain a motion to accept these changes on
So
what we were
moved.
already approved. Okay, Mr. Williams
So moved.
moved and second,
I'll second.
Judith, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
And I'm sorry, these are those letters from Doris, from the from Anthony Brandt there. Yeah. Yep. They go with that. And this is done. Thank you. Okay, now we move on to 53 Richards Drive. It's for the proposed. Hello, it's a proposed one bedroom addition. A new sunroom by covering the existing deck partially. A swimming pool, 1-car garage, driveway renovation, and landscape. Okay.
Okay, so can everyone see my screen?
We see some beautiful plants.
Thank you. I'm going to preface by saying I'm a little under the weather, so I apologize beforehand. So we're 53 Richards Drive. Ani and I are presenting on behalf of the client. We're going to start off with some of the existing pictures of the property so you can get an understanding of why the client would like to change certain things and how we think we're improving the existing design with our intended schematic. So this is the front. It's a one-level property. Bear with me. I labeled them for everyone. I'm going to take you around the property since Google Earth doesn't have any street views. They have a beautiful deck that wraps around two sides of the house, and we would like to incorporate that deck space for future sunroom. Please tell me if I'm going too fast.
I'm okay.
Okay.
All right.
It's a very long house, so I just want to show everybody. Okay. So you can see here, this right now this is the existing basement, and you'll see that the site, the topography goes up and to the existing deck, where this is the first floor. Let's see. Okay, 5. Okay, I think we got all 4 sides. I'm gonna switch to not the landscape, the survey.
The pool.
Saw this.
And this house is here.
Come on.
This was the greatest property. And they have a driveway in between here. So he wants to put a pool here.
Of course, it does not want to cooperate.
Here we are.
Are you guys okay if I have it at this orientation? Are you guys okay with that?
I'm okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll just walk everyone through this. So right now we have this existing 1-story. We're proposing this split level with keeping the part of the existing deck, eliminating this corner area of the deck, and then using this rectangular part of the deck as an enclosed sunroom. And in regards to landscaping, adding a 20 by 40 swimming pool. We also have drawn up a proper driveway, since that is something that they don't have at the moment. They are actually sharing with their next door neighbors. And, you know, it's obviously important to them for them to have their own, you know,
Driveway.
forms of egress to get into the property. I think it's very, I think it's very accommodating, and I don't think it's too much. It's not overwhelming to the existing 1-story. We're keeping the split level, which they preferred, very low, because we don't want it to compete with the existing height of the existing ranch.
Mm-hmm. That's the proposed split level. Okay.
So part of your proposed, it says proposed 2-story addition. So there's a 2-story addition on one end and a sun porch on the other end.
So you know what, I'm going to jump up to elevations instead. I think that's going to be clearer.
Yes.
Okay, so let's jump to elevations. Okay.
Oh, I see.
So this area is going to be the garage. And as you can see, the grade just, it slopes through the whole property. So we're trying to keep it as, what's the word? For it not to be as competitive with because we felt like it was going to be a little bit too aggressive if it was going to be a full 2-story addition with an existing ranch. So we're keeping everything here in just enclosing that sunroom, and then there's going to be a stair that's going to go into the second level, which is going to be the master level. And that's the front, and then the rear, we're going to have the deck, the existing deck that's going to go to the corner, and this is going to, that's where we're cutting back the existing deck for square footage.
What will your house be clad with?
Okay, I'm going to show you that. I actually put that on. It's going to be the Shugabani. I'm sorry, I always mispronounce it. Where is it?
Shoshugiban.
Thank you. I'm not as eloquent. I promise I usually am, but not today.
It's like a burnt Japanese wood.
Correct.
Yes,
I have a picture there for you, but for whatever reason, my computers
it's,
also have
plank.
has a clue.
It's a you know, plank kind of.
And that's the color of it.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
And the new will have this metal roof, correct?
There's going to be, yes, new parts of the new house is going to have the the metal, and then the existing is going to have the asphalt.
Okay, which it has now.
Correct.
Correct. Yep. I had a question about, let's see, first of all, is everybody satisfied with the explanation of the plan and the house itself?
Mm-hmm.
Can we move on to landscaping? We haven't really talked about the landscaping, I don't think.
Let me just say this
yes,
while she's making the transition. This is my neighbor. We share a common property line border.
Oh, okay.
And so I spent a little extra time looking over this plan. I could find no reason to object to it. And
Good.
I think they should be rewarded that they didn't try to build a much larger house. I think
Yeah, I agree.
the expansion is modest. I think the change in the facade will be beautiful. So I endorse this. I will just tell you, in terms of the landscaping, we are separated by what used to be a 12-foot, it's probably been cut down to 10-foot, thickly developed, what would you call it, pine trees and fir trees, really. And so there's no penetration, and there's no street view of this house. And unless they plan to change that landscaping, it really has no impact on the, none of these improvements have any impact on the existing.
Okay, I see. 12. So the plan is correct, is to have the 12 to 14 in height, green giants.
Right.
Along and does it tell us the spacing?
They're existing.
They're existing. Okay. All right. And how about going across the property the other way there?
They're about 30 to 36 inches. The ilex and the hydrangeas. Mm-hmm.
And they're good. They're there already, or they're going to be planted?
They're going to be planted.
Okay. Yep, it says, okay. And I see the new driveway. I was a little confused when I looked at this plan. If I see page 1, Mr. Williams, is that what I'm looking at here? When I look at the big, this is 1 of 3. It's the plan. It's the actual plan of the house. But what I see, I don't know if anyone else notices or not. Now it shows a gravel driveway. That's like on the other side of the Green Giants. Is that the driveway that people shared or something before? Like it's on. I can point to it. But it's like on the.
Oh, it's like an existing pathway.
Yeah, they call it a gravel driveway, and it looked like we had, like you all had to go across the trees to get to the house.
Ani, do you recall that?
I wish I could show it to you.
I can explain that to you if you want.
Yeah, well, yes, because I don't want us to. I mean, as long as it's. Go ahead.
Okay, if you can look at, I don't know if the site plan will show you. There's another lot, I think, to the east of this plan that you're seeing, which is another lot. I think it's 62. And so this really was a family compound that was comprised of more than one lot. In fact, this rendering covers 2 lots, right? So the family shared this common driveway, but had 2 separate houses. And the other house still exists, and it'll have a pool. These new trees to the bottom of this diagram, I guess, will represent the new separation between the two homes.
Oh, so they're not existing; they're new.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I thought you meant the ones on this side. No,
Oh,
these
okay.
are proposed.
Okay, all right.
Those are proposed. And both homes are existing.
Okay.
And have been for over 30 years. But this modification will be what was a family compound will be separated so it's two families on these now bifurcated lots.
I got you. Now the two cars that we see, they're in a driveway, correct? Or like a parking space from the driveway. Okay. Where is the one car garage located?
Oh, so it's actually going to be here in the
Underneath?
split level. Yep.
Okay. So so you go up the proposed driveway and
Yep.
then go into that one car garage? Is there anything showing us that?
Yes, it should be on the elevations and it should be on the plan. Let's see.
Okay. I see on page 2 of 3. The first floor plan shows that it's a one car garage. It just doesn't show me how you get to it, but Mr. Williams, you're very familiar with this property, correct? And you're
Extremely
comfortable with
so.
it?
Extremely so.
Okay, so we're good, everyone? Anyone have any questions about the landscaping or any remarks about the overall plan?
I just want to echo what Mr. Williams said about it's so nice to have such modest additions and not trying to make a giant house, but just make a nice cozy house. And I think your plans look like they're going to be very attractive.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And one question about the pool, the pool fence, is it in front of the hydrangeas or behind? No, it's not behind, is it? It must be in front.
Ani?
The pool
Ani,
fence?
you're on mute.
I am? I'm sorry.
No, Ani.
Oh.
There you go. There you go.
Lisa, can you please reflect on the landscaping plan?
Sure. So I believe we're going to have fencing around the pool, correct, Ani?
Absolutely. There's a young child in the family.
Yes, yeah, you have to.
But
does it show it? We need to see that on the plan, correct, everyone?
No, I'll add it to it.
I can't. Well, can I write it down or do they have to? It's not on the plan that I can see. It doesn't show that there's a fence. I don't think, and it doesn't say.
What type of fencing is it going to be?
What kind of fencing is it going to be?
Can you hear me?
Or Lisa, yeah.
Yes.
What type of fencing?
So we'll do the fencing out of mahogany and 1x1 deer fencing.
We need to see that on the plan.
Okay, we'll add that to the plan.
If the fencing is going to be a material, then we should have seen a sample.
Yep, and we have to see the gate, the size of the gate, and where it's going to be located.
Okay.
And if you're having, a walkway from the house to the pool, we want to see that.
Okay, sounds good.
Anybody have anything else? So you'll need to come back for the landscaping for the fence, the pool fence.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else? Anybody? Mr. Williams, we're good?
Yeah, no, I think we're good. I mean, the object, can we give them enough confidence that it's these exterior details that we want, that they want to go to construction documents? I would appreciate that we do that. So we do it subject to, maybe approve the building and leave and have the landscaping plan.
I understand what you're saying, but I have to say I'm not comfortable with that just because of some other houses that we've done even tonight where we didn't split it. I'd rather do
Yeah,
everything
let's
at once.
let's put it all together and
Yeah,
approve it
put
all.
it all together.
And speaking
That's
from
fine
a
with me.
building department standpoint, it doesn't make it go any faster by
There you
separating
go.
it.
By
It really
separating it.
doesn't.
It doesn't make it go faster. And it's a pretty simple thing for you to do. Okay.
All right, we'll add the fencing, we'll add the gate, and we'll add the walkway to the pool.
Okay.
Anything else you would like to know?
Anything else that you're thinking about having that we need to see?
No, it's pretty straightforward. What you see,
What you see is
get.
what we're gonna get.
If it's okay to move on, I could do the landscaping in a separate application.
Yeah, we can't. I'm sorry, because we've already started it. In 2 weeks you'll have it.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, so I would.
Let me add to let me suggest that the landscaping plan then includes any exterior landscaping lighting that you'll have. And
Sure.
just to note that we're doing dark skies out here now, so any exterior lighting should have a top shroud.
Absolutely. I'll add that in.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Lewis.
So I would a motion to table.
Second.
Okay. All right. I'll make the motion to table, and so I'm making the motion to table, and Christian is seconding. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll move on now to discussion item.
FYI, my computer is going to die any second, and I don't have my charger, so
It's okay. I'll forgive you,
out of here.
Mr. Christian. Thank you. Okay, so this is we're going to move down to 50, whoops, be careful, 55 Howard Street, which, because the first discussion item has been, is not going, they're not coming tonight, so we don't have to listen to this discussion, have that discussion. So we're moving down to number 2, 55 Howard, and it's a discussion item, and it's a proposed first and story addition. And the information that I have is that this is in front of the ZBA right now, and they just kind of wanted to get our feeling about it. And Zach went and he made some notes. He of course is concerned about the new addition which will be it's a large addition to the rear of the house. And we're trying to make sure that the original house does not become subordinate. Well, no, you want it to be subordinate, correct? No, you don't want it to be subordinate to the massing of the proposed work or preserve the appearance. We need to have the appearance of the original house intact.
Correct.
Okay. And that was his main concern.
Okay.
And it is this is a discussion item.
So may I
Yes,
introduce
take it
myself?
away, please.
Okay. Nicholas Vero, architect, West Hampton Beach. I want to thank Heather for recommending that I come into the board this evening as a discussion. However, listening to originally one of the members of the zoning board wanted me to come not before the board, but sit in on a meeting, which I was planning on doing tonight. And then Heather asked me if I could just drop off drawings, so perhaps we could put it on as a discussion tonight. As I told the zoning board last week at last Tuesday's hearing, I'm in the process of redesigning this addition. Okay, listening to what you had to say, going through the neighborhood. I mean, I went around the neighborhood, onto Meadowlark and all the surrounding roads, and there are quite a few houses that look like this right now. They're old, they're beautiful. So it's my intention right now to reduce the impact, reduce the additions on this house. And I'm in the process of doing that right now. So I'm here tonight mainly because I wanted to listen to your meeting tonight. I took some notes on some of the other things. I think that from what I've seen around the neighborhood, kind of getting a feel for, I think what you want this to become, if we're going to get an approval on additions and alterations to this house. I plan on leaving the integrity of the front of the house, okay?
That's all good news.
I'm not going to change the height of the roof line on the existing house. The brunt of the additions are in the back of the house. And I think you've approved some of those from what I can gather on some of the houses that I looked at that are very similar to this. Okay, so I apologize that in my haste on Tuesday, I dropped off drawings to Heather in anticipation of having this. But all I needed to hear was that what Zach had said, and you just reported back to me, is that we want to maintain the integrity of that house.
Yes,
it's historic, it's pretty, it's beautiful. I mean, obviously, on the inside, the house needs some work. We have a stair going up to the 2 bedrooms on the second floor that is basically a ship's ladder. Okay, and the person who owns this house is an elderly woman, and she has a hard time going up the stairs. So we want to make sure that we get a little integrity out of that. So what I plan on doing is this: if you're open to me coming back for another discussion in 2 weeks, I promise you that the new drawings that I will submit we'll be able to discuss that a little better and in a little more detail, so we can go back to the zoning board. Because I think I'm on zoning board on May 17th. We left the hearing open. Okay.
Yes, our next meeting. What's the date of our next meeting?
May 12th, I believe, right?
May 12th. Okay, May 12th. Yep. That sounds like a plan to me.
Okay, and I didn't want to waste any of your time tonight.
No,
I actually
that's very
my screen
considerate of you, sir.
All right, so if you can consider me coming back for May 12th, I'll be happy to sit through that whole meeting again, listen, observe, and then we'll make a little bit of a
We'll keep our fingers crossed.
Okay. I appreciate your time. I didn't want to waste too much of your time.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, then I will see you. Thank you very much, everybody.
Yep. Good night.
All right. Good night.
So I'll the motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Have a good night.